Hi, Adams. Happy Wednesday. I am here with the last chapter of A Long Walk to Water, and I'm excited for you to hear it because this book has a really nice ending. So, we are on chapter 18, Southern Sudan, 2009. Naya waited her turn in line. She was holding a plastic bottle. The well was finally finished. The gravel had been put down to make a foundation, the pump had been installed, and the cement had been poured and left to dry. Before the pump was used for the first time, the villagers all gathered around. The leader of the workers brought out a big sign made of blue canvas. The canvas had writing on it. The writing was in English, but the leader spoke to Naya's uncle, and Uncle told everyone what the sign said. In honor of Elm Street School, Uncle said. This is the name of a school in America. The students at the school raised the money for this well to be dug. Uncle held up one end of the sign, the workers' leader held up the other. Everyone else stood around it, and one of the workers took their picture. The picture would be sent to the American school so that the students there could see the well and the people who were using it now. Then the villagers all got in line to wait their turn for water from the new well. When Naya reached the head of the line, she smiled shyly at her uncle, who paused in his work for a moment to smile back at her. Then he began moving the pump handle up and down, up and down. A stream of water flowed from the mouth of the pump. Naya held her bottle under the pump mouth. The bottle filled up quickly. She stepped aside to let the next person fill a bottle as she drank. The water was delicious. It wasn't warm or muddy like the water from the pond. It was cool and clear. Naya stopped drinking and held up the bottle so she could look at it. Funny that something without any color at all could look so nice. She drank a few more sips, then glanced around. Everyone had a bottle or a cup. They were drinking that lovely water or waiting in line for more, or talking and laughing. It was a celebration. An old granddad standing not too far from Naya shook his head. In a loud voice, he said, "This is where we used to gather for our bonfire celebrations. I have been sitting on this ground my whole life. In all these years, I never knew that I was sitting on top of this good water." Everyone around him laughed. Naya laughed too. In a few more days, the school would be finished. Naya and Dep and Akir would all go to school along with the other children. Next year, there would be a marketplace where the villagers could sell and buy vegetables and chickens and other goods. There was even talk of a clinic someday, a medical clinic, so they wouldn't have to walk so far to get help. And they had to when Akir was ill. It was the well that was bringing the village of all these good things. But the well was not for their use alone. People would come from miles around to fetch the good clean water. Naya knew from listening to the grown-ups that the crew leader had made many arrangements concerning the well. No one was ever to be refused water. Some of the villagers would be responsible for maintaining the well. They would be busy with this new work, so the entire village was to help them with their crops and cattle. Other villagers, including Naya's uncle, would resolve any disputes that arose. The well would change their lives in many ways. I will never have to walk to the pond for water, Naya thought. She wandered around a little, sipping at her cool, fresh drink. Then she caught sight of the crew leader. He was standing by himself, leaning against one of the trucks and watching her uncle work the pump. Dep saw her looking at the man. "That man, the boss of the workers," Dep said. "You know he is Dinka?" Naya looked at Dep in astonishment. The Dinka and the Nuer did not look very different physically. You had to look at the scar pattern on people's faces to tell the tribes apart. Dinka scar patterns were different from those of the Nuer, but the crew leader had no scars on his face. Naya had heard some of the teenage boys talking about that, wondering why he had no scars when clearly he was a grown man. The leader's assistant was Nuer. So were most of the crew. They all had Nuer scars. Naya hadn't thought about it much, but she realized now she had always assumed that the leader was Nuer too. The Dinka and the Nuer were enemies. They had been for hundreds of years. Why would a Dinka bring water to us? she wondered aloud. I heard Uncle and Father talking about him, Depp said. He has drilled many wells for his own people. This year, he decided to drill for the Newer as well. Depp had not really answered Naya's question. He probably doesn't know the answer, she thought. But now Naya felt that there was something she had to do. She walked over to the man. He didn't notice her at first, so she waited quietly. Then he saw her. Hello, he said. Shyness flooded through Naya. For a moment, she didn't think she would be able to speak. She looked down at the ground, then at the stream of water still flowing from the pump mouth. And then she found her voice. Thank you, she said, and looked up at him bravely. Thank you for bringing the water. The man smiled. What is your name? He asked. I am Naya. I am happy to meet you, Naya. My name is Salva. Oh, these books get me in my feelings, guys. I'm going to read you the message from the author. This book is based on the true story of my life. Oh, sorry, not the author. This is from Salva. So the real Salva. I hope that because of this book, more people will learn about the lost boys in the country of Sudan. I was born in a small village called Lun Erik in the Tonj country, southern Sudan. And just as it says in the book, I stayed in refugee camps in Ethiopia and Kenya for many years before I came to America. I am thankful to a great many people. The United Nations and the International Red Cross supported my life when I was in danger of starvation. The Moore family, my church, and the community of Rochester, New York welcomed me to the United States. I am also grateful for the community, for the education I have received, especially at Monroe Community College. And deepest gratitude to the people who have helped me with my project, Water for Sudan, Inc., the schools, churches, civic organizations, and individuals all over the country. Special thanks to the Board of Water for Sudan and to the Rotary clubs that have worked closely with me. My dreams of helping the people back home in Sudan are beginning to come true. I overcame all the difficult situations of my past because of the hope and perseverance that I had. I would not have made it without these two things. To young people, I would like to say, stay calm when things are hard or not going right with you. You will get through it when you persevere instead of quitting. Quitting leads to much less happiness in life than perseverance and hope. Salva Dutt, Rochester, New York, 2010. All right. That is it, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this book. I know it had some very sad moments, but I'm glad we got a bit of a happy ending with Salva and his family. I hope you guys have a great day. I want to know in the comments, what was your favorite part of the book? If you could choose one part from the whole book, was it the ending? Was it somewhere in the middle, beginning? What part of this book was your favorite? Bye, guys. See you tomorrow.